Is this thing on? Oh, he's trying to sound out words. We know he fucked up now. It's going to be a long show. Bro, what the hell are you wearing anyway? What the hell is that? Is that
I'm wearing a hoodie.
a Nigerian bathrobe? What the hell is that? You got going on,
I thought it was a shawl.
What's the fuck you got on, bro?
I thought it was a shawl his kids made him.
War robe? What the hell is going on?
When I see you in the streets.
You trying to blend in, man?
When I see you in the streets, it's going to be trouble. I just want to make sure that you understand that.
I don't know what the hell you got going on, bro. You okay?
Whatever, man. Yes. Welcome. What's up? What is up? Back once again. It is the incredible In the Black podcast. And in case you weren't aware, this is a podcast dedicated to covering the current events and social issues going on in your Black world and covering it all from the perspective of three grown-ass men that know that get your booty to the polls ad actually works. Something's going on in Georgia. So I am your host, Big O, Mr. In the Black himself, but you know, as usual, I can never do this alone. Let me introduce the rest of Two Live crew. Crush, say what's up.
What's good, everybody?
No doubt. L, say what's up, man.
What's good, man? I ain't got shit to say to you, bro. Go ahead.
And if you're checking this out on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe so that you don't miss out on the next video. And if you're going to be jumping into the family, please go ahead and follow us across social media at In the Black PDCST. But before we jump into it and our special guest for tonight, L, please tell these good folks how they can become part of the family, man.
Hey, man, head on over to www.intheblackpdcst.com and click in the right-hand corner to become a member of the family tab. There's all types of shit that you can do while you're there. You can buy swag. You can become a member of the Patreon. You can donate directly to us. And I know it sounds like we may be begging y'all motherfuckers for money, but we're really not. The money that we're going to use are actually going to be using for the betterment of this platform. We're trying to grow so more of your ignorant ass friends can hear some truth.
No doubt.
You are the worst. I'm trying to tell you are the complete worst. So tonight we have a very special guest kicking it with us once again. Mm-hmm. Author and activist, Miss Kimberly Jones. Mama, what's up?
Hey, how y'all doing?
What's good? How you doing?
Hey, sis.
This is my favorite show.
You know what? I'm gonna replay this for my mom when she listens to this later. We appreciate you. Thank you for being on the show once again, man, and putting up with all these light-skinned. I needed some dark action to come in here and balance it out. So I appreciate it.
Kim like the light skin? What you talking about?
I'm saying thank you to Kim.
Come on now.
I'm saying thank you to Kim. Okay. Can I just say thank you without you getting all extra? So thank you. I appreciate it. So, but between now and the last time that we had you on the show, what have you been up to?
I've been writing a few more books, and I've still been out here in these protesting COVID streets. And I've been working with, I have two organizations, one in which I'm a co-founder and one in which I am the entertainment and culture chair. So I'm the entertainment and culture chair for the People's Uprising here in Atlanta. And then I am a co-founder for Revolutionary Healing. So I've just been busy with my organization, still in these streets and writing my tail off.
No doubt. So you were working on now, as you're listening to this is November 4th. Mm-hmm. We are one day after the election or the voting process of the election.
Right.
I know that you've been getting into the get out the vote process prior to yesterday. So how was that working?
You know, it's funny because I'm here in Georgia. So Georgia has been red.
Right.
Looking like Georgia about to flip blue for the first time
in a very long time.
And I would like to thank the local strippers for their
Me too. I want to thank them also.
Yeah, I mean,
the booty to the polls went viral.
Indeed.
No doubt.
You know what's so interesting about the get the booty to the polls? Somebody thinks that's like the brainchild of a dude, right? That's actually the brainchild of the women over at the New Georgia Project, which includes Stacey Abrams.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Casey.
Okay.
I'm gonna drop it and shake it.
She got to the point. She got to the point.
No, I
She
can't
got
hate.
to the poll. Go ahead.
Good.
They got to the polls though.
They
They
got
got to the polls. They got to the polls. I think the last count they said that he's neck and neck now, like at 49 point something or 49 point something.
Yeah, it's 49.8 for Trump and 49 for Biden. But the interesting thing is these final counts, this 120,000 votes that still have not been counted, are in predominantly Black and Latin.
Atlanta, they killing it. Oh
yeah, so it's like Blacks and it's like it's contingent upon the Blacks and Mexicans. And we all know how the Blacks and Mexicans feel about a certain person.
No doubt, no doubt. So we are now here, November 4th, as I said. Once the polls closed, at least on our end here, 7:30, the anxiety started.
Yeah.
I think by the time it hit about 10 o'clock, well, for me, I really didn't care too much. I actually went to bed at like 9:30. It's like whatever. It's going to be what it's going to be. What it's going to be when I get up, regardless of what I did my part. I voted. It is what it is.
Exactly.
But I know a lot of folks. They were up last night and they had the Tums because the heartburn was rolling in and all of that. The anxiety was really beating them up. Where we are now, the first question for tonight: where we are now, did you expect it?
No, I was watching Van Jones, and I hate to quote Van Jones because sometimes he wear me out. But
say it one more time, boy. Say it one more time, boy.
Sometimes he wears me out. And I'm like,
no.
What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? But he so nailed it today when he was on CNN. He said that it's looking really good that we're going to have a political victory, but we lost the moral victory because with over 200,000 COVID deaths, with children in cages, with grab them in the kitty cat, with a stand by and stand back, and Black people are too dumb to vote for me. And all that has happened with the dismantle, he dismantled women's rights, dismantled queer rights, like just on a freaking rampage. And then one more non-researching Negro tell me about how he let Black people out of jail. And I have to actually give them the real numbers that it was about 8 folks.
Oh no.
There's no way it should be this close. It should have been a landslide. Biden should have just, it should have been able to be announced last night. It shouldn't be this close with somebody this morally inept in office.
Nah, I can get it. What do you guys think?
Why do you think it's this close, Kim?
Because once again, white women.
Okay.
White
women. I just want to be clear. It ain't close because of us.
Right. White women.
Part of the problem is that we always wind up in these situations during these elections, and we find ourselves being the savior and being the target of people's disappointment at the end when things don't go, when white people see that things aren't going their way. And I think that's
the group, make no mistake, is white women.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to say white men because he got over 50% of the white male vote. But my thing with them is, yeah, he gonna get over 50% of their vote. He's
one of them. That's part of his club. Yep.
Right. He is their plug. They want to stay in power. They do not want to relinquish their power. They want to continue to rule and stomp and trample and be divisive and be able to pretend like they don't know the rest of the world is in pain. So yeah, they voted their own interest. Right. I get mad at them. Right. But white women, he wants to grab you in the nana. And also
they might like that though.
Retract by him. No, nobody want him grabbing him in the nana. Nobody, not even his wife. She don't want it either. She not.
White women doing too some shit.
Yeah, I don't think they in the orange Cheetos though, but
no, I listen to.
Yeah, I'm like, roll back women's rights, say things that are inappropriate, hire incompetent women to make women as a whole look bad. Betsy DeVos makes us all look dumb.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
bullshit.
definitely.
So I'm like, y'all were the people who should have rolled out in great numbers and said, no more of this Nana grabber. Instead, y'all gonna vote with him because, child, I can't. Don't even get me started on my disappointment in the Karens of the world.
Hey, listen, don't forget
they
that we did
down
see
this
this
time.
damn. We saw this damn. What do you call it? The women's march. What, 2-3 days after his election or whatever, with all the pink hats and all that.
Where y'all at?
You know what? To be fair, man, I really thought that this time around would be different, man.
Why?
I know.
What in the world made you feel that all of a sudden white people were going to do something different for black folks? What was the inclination? The fact that dead bodies were abuzz in the street?
I wanted them to vote for themselves. Through us, I thought they were going to vote it for themselves. I thought they were
benefit either way.
All the rollbacks
right about that.
And vote for themselves. I'm just like, I can't with y'all on my nerves.
Nah, you're right about that. You're right about that. I'm actually very surprised that it's as close as it is as well, and only simply because of the way the polling looked. If you believe the polls prior to coming in here, it was supposed to be a blue wave. That was the term that you kept hearing throughout prior to the election. He was supposed to be winning in Wisconsin by 12 points. He's barely squeaked by in Wisconsin right now. They've already called it. He was supposed to be blowing him out by like 9 in Michigan. Barely squeaked through in Michigan. So I'm really surprised that the polls, like, let's keep it all the way funky. If anything comes from this, Donald Trump won in this instance, that the media is fake news, because they really had a lot of people believing that it was the numbers were there, and here we are a day after, not even a full 24 hours after the fact. What is that?
I advise everybody to purchase this book by a crazy Cliff Oxford, who's a friend of mine.
Okay,
a crazy redneck from South Georgia. Okay. Sometimes you got to talk to rednecks and ghetto people to get the truth.
Is that the liberal redneck?
Yes, this is he's not the liberal redneck, but he is a liberal redneck.
Okay.
He wrote this book called Redneck Reverie, which is him saying from his now he's a millionaire now, but he grew up in a trailer park, whole nine, and he wrote that book based on his perspective of how Trump was able to get poor whites to rock with him against their interest. And so I think that even with white women, that's what we're seeing. He has a way of gaslighting and really is charming for that set. See, white women liked when he said, I'm saving your suburbs.
Sure they did.
They liked when he said, a lot of things he said. And I would like to say, as a Georgian, I'm proud of the white women in Georgia, because this is one of the places where he didn't really get white women's votes. White women here were like, baby, we live in the city. We don't live in the suburbs, and I'm not with your shenanigans. You drive around some of the white neighborhoods here in Georgia, and all you see is Biden Harris signs and Black Lives Matter signs on their yards. I could drive you through Decatur right now and show you 50 white houses with Black Lives Matter signs in the yards. But Georgia can't be responsible for taking care of everybody. We got a lot going on here.
You guys got
y'all got your hands full.
Yeah,
just trying to tear up every tree we got up out the ground.
What's that strip club in
Magic City?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You act like you don't know about Magic City. Stop that shit. You go there for the win.
I have no idea what you're talking about. My wife watches this show. I have no idea what you're talking about. Phil, so did you think it was going to be this close?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised. But the doubling down of the usual suspects was unusual too. I was surprised for maybe 30 seconds, 30, 40 seconds. And then the reality sunk in of where this could go,
What about you, El? I know that you always want to play the bad guy when it comes to some of this stuff, man. Go ahead and do your thing.
Nah, man. I thought white people was going to do what white people do. I thought they was going to come through and they was going to do and vote to protect their interests. And many of us black folks believe that somehow morally black folks, white people are going to come to some moral awakening all of a sudden and begin to stand up against white supremacy. But I don't believe that's how it works. You don't stand up against the very thing that you benefit from 365. So I wasn't surprised. I feel like it was going to be the blowout by Trump, or it was going to be a very tight race. But and again, man, it's just fascinating to watch this election process. I'm more disappointed in the Democratic Party. I think the Democratic Party is trash. And here's why I think they're trash. These motherfuckers they had 4 years, bro. You had 4 years to prepare 2 viable candidates to eradicate and vaporize this dude. And that's not to be disparaging against Kamala and Kamala specifically. Fuck Joe. But you had 4 years to cultivate 2 candidates to destroy Trump. And then you had to literally shoot from half court to bring, Sister Harris on to boast you up, because motherfuckers wasn't fucking with Joe. Why? Because that 94 crime bill. Yeah. For many of us, particularly black men, that crime bill is something that we struggle to get the fuck over.
Yeah. You're right about that.
So I wasn't surprised, man.
Yeah. I think the thing that actually did surprise me, actually, for real, was some of the numbers. It is amazing that even after all of this time, even as we talk to other folks, other people of color, other black people, that Trump was able to double his margins with almost every single one of those demographics. So I know that he says, here's some of the numbers for you. White men, about 58%. We see that. White women, 55%. Last time they were about 56. And these are early numbers, early exit polls that we're seeing here. These numbers may change as we get closer to the end of the election. Black men last 2016 voted for Trump at 13%. We're now at 18%. Black women, this was a big surprising one. They were at 3 or 4% 2016. They jumped up to 8%. Latino men and Latino women, double digits again. Another one, gays, 13 plus, 14%, now 28% that they voted for Trump. I think ultimately some of these numbers, I wasn't expecting it. Especially after.
Why were you not expecting it?
I wasn't expecting it simply because I think, like I said, we've gone through 2020. We had 3-4 months of people in the streets talking about not just talking about white supremacy and racial oppression, but also specifically how he is connected to those things. And for whatever reason, they still felt the need to vote for him, even after 230 plus people have lost their lives to COVID. Many of those people, black people, with insurance problems and all sorts of things, and still people went out, doubled the count. Now, mind you, to be fair, it was 91% of black women that voted for Biden and Kamala, and 80% of black men that voted for Biden and Kamala. But to see the numbers increase, to see him make gains, I didn't expect that, my guy. I just didn't. So you expected it because you look like you expected it.
It doesn't surprise me that he made gains, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't surprise me. No.
I wasn't so surprised amongst Latinos.
I wasn't surprised either.
I wasn't surprised amongst Latinos.
Latinos is a totally different. That's a totally different thing, and you're right about that. I mean, in Cuba, anyway, in Miami, we understand how that. Yeah, we understand how that works. But Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, I was like, y'all too? Dominicans?
Et tu, bouteille?
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna tell you why I think that you saw an increase in some of those groups, and it's not a good reason, but it's out of sheer ignorance. You got to keep in mind, for 3 months we took to these streets, Black folks, queer folks, and some woke white folks, right? That scared people who weren't in the street. They didn't see that as y'all go get them. They seen it as, oh my God, these crazy Negroes have descended upon our streets and they're coming to get us, and we need some law and order. So even some of those queer people who always try to align themselves with the Black agenda,
come on,
for them, were the same, or some of the same. First of all, I have tons and tons of Black queer friends that I have this conversation with, that they talk to me about the fact that white queer people don't share their issues with them. They don't understand their issues as a Black person.
Right.
Not, if you are exclusive of their queerness, as a Black person, that when they're saying, okay, I'm having these issues, you should align yourself with me because you should understand about being marginalized.
As a marginalizing,
They do not relate to that type of marginalization. Their marginalization for them is finite and defined by their own personal experience, which is a lot of times when you see queer people of color have their own separate movements from the overall queer movement, because there's no connection between them and queer whites who still get the benefit of their whiteness, and the illusion of white supremacy. So when you're looking at things like, we're saying, the revolution is here, we took to the streets, we made some noise, we're fighting for some things. A lot of people bought the propaganda of, we're just out here rioting, looting, killing, destroying.
Absolutely. Come on.
The beginning of anarchy in America. So yes, you were going to have an increase in the queer community. You were going to have an increase, especially in Latinx people who are not proletariat, because they feared the crazy Negro in the street, because I've said this a million times, the marketing campaign to make you fear Black people is the most successful marketing campaign in American history.
So how do you explain the Black men and Black women doubling their numbers?
Because you got to incorporate the class dynamic.
Yep.
There's a large segment of
as you're saying that, how I get what you're saying, but how did that element not exist at this same rate in 2016?
Because of fear mongering, they convinced that Biden's gonna raise their taxes. Child, if you're not making millions of dollars, that Biden tax plan is not gonna affect your dumb ass. Actually look and see what it is that is happening. Your $400,000 a year that you make, the $200,000 that your AKA wife make, and you, Kappa Sir, your $200,000
say that.
Does not put you in that tax bracket. By Joe Biden.
Hold on. Why didn't either one of you attack her for attacking Kappas and AKAs? The last time I did, I got nothing but hate. What's going on?
You were annoying last time. Kim
you asked for it, brother. You asked for it.
Yeah, you asked for that, bro.
Okay. It was required. It was required.
Okay, I'll eat that out.
Nah, she was cute too, though, Kim. I mean, she was cute too. But
I'll take that L. Listen,
okay. And this is no hate towards the Divine Nine, but what I'm saying is these are the conversations that I was hearing. Also, again, it wasn't just Black wealthy people that are part of that 20%. I've heard a lot of my brothers talk to me about barbershop conversations that they've had about, Trump getting their homeboys out of jail. First of all, I'm in the hood. Well, I ain't in the hood no more. My life situation, but I'm still connected to the hood. And I'm telling you, the scammers are so happy with Trump. I don't know how to tell them the Department of Justice is coming after them for all this PPE money in the scam. But the scammers had came up. So the scammers is like, I came up under Trump. I'm rocking with Trump because my scam game is on 600.
And listen, I know Phil is looking like that is some of the most ignorant shit on the planet. But when you have a very low political education, which we know within our community,
it's painfully Painfully
And I
short.
mean, it's painfully obvious that
Non-existent.
political education and the organizing are two components that should be risen to the forefront in our community for the next several years, because we got to do whatever possible to get the fucking Democrats and the Republicans up out of the hood and develop our own shit, because some motherfuckers is trash.
Trash.
They really are.
We literally, I mean, that was the most disappointing thing for me, was the fact of how low our political education is, that we still fall into that default Democratic default setting, that we do Dem parties regardless of, and then white people. I mean, I think the fact that so many Black folks had faith that white people were going to do something different this time was problematic to me, because I didn't see anything throughout this pandemic. I didn't see anything throughout this Black Lives Matter and all of us dying, brothers, sisters, and kids in the street, that gave me enough hope that that white people were going to do something different. Now, there have been some white people who have been strategic and demonstrated their allyship.
For sure.
There's been a whole lot of the motherfuckers who have put Black Lives Matter on their lawn so Black folks didn't run up in their crib. They had that type of mentality. But that's been bothersome more to me, that we had hope that white people were going to be different. I think Black folks today should be incredibly angry, more angry than any time before, with white people, because white people let us down this time in a manner that is absolutely unacceptable.
And they fake the funk. Like, I can't tell you how many people on my page talking about, yeah, sis, I'm with you. And about 12 of them probably really are. And it's probably the 12 that I already know, like my friend Sunny Bo. Like, the 12 I already know. You know what I'm saying? Because Sunny, she ready to risk it all. You know what I mean? My co-author, Gila, she ready to risk it all. She was out there being a poll protector yesterday. She weighed 100 pounds. I said, what Trump star you gonna beat up? You know, pop out there in the street. But you know, it was like there was this energy as if though people understood. Now, I will say this. Here's what I'm not disappointed about. Despite the moral loss that we took last night in regards to the election, we had a lot of big wins. Okay, I got a map I can send y'all. We turned this nation green. People gonna be smoking all the weed they can smoke.
That's true. That's true. I give you that.
That's true.
That's true. I think one of the biggest problems that the Democratic Party has had, for real, is the fact that they've been failing to be able to get out an effective message. They did a very good job this election cycle about telling you why you should vote for Trump, but not a good enough job about why you should vote for Biden. So I'm gonna give you an example. In Florida yesterday, there was a ballot initiative that passed by 22% to increase minimum wage to $15. Biden has that on his platform somewhere. How many times have you heard him or Kamala talk about raising the minimum wage to $15? I watched the entire 3 nights of that freaking Democratic convention. If he said it once, that was probably the maximum of it, to talk about that. Because like you've all already said, most of the comments that we've been hearing from folks, especially our folks, for why they would have voted for him outside of the criminal justice thing, which is foolishness though. But
stupid.
But it's an economic reason behind it.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that they failed to get that messaging across. Other reasons to vote for him. We've known for 4 years that he was a bigot. We've known for 4 years that he was a misogynist. We've known for 4 years that he had these wheelings and dealings, that he's ready to tell you a lie at the drop of a hat to get what you want, aka Lil Wayne and
don't bring them dudes up.
I'm just saying, you know what time it is. But I think that they failed to do that job. Now, with that being said, one of the bigger elements to this whole election is the fact that Democrats were looking to flip the Senate, and they've fallen short of it.
Yeah.
So now that they've fallen short of it, nothing is going to happen for the next 4 years.
Right.
Nope.
They didn't get behind black candidates. They say they want to support us. That you get to get how many? First of all, Louisiana is blackity black, blickety black. Yet we spin it there.
Like big old black.
Right. Mississippi is black, black, black. Look, I'm black, 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 and we lost the Senate there. There is no reason why here in Georgia, Warnock to be in a runoff. And then I'm like, are you people going to show up for Warnock and the Rhinos? That woman who lost in Kentucky, who was running against Mitch McConnell, they raised $88 million for her in a losing battle.
Losing $88 million. She got washed.
But yet you raised $88 million for her. Somebody like Warnock here in Georgia could have used that money. That money would have put him over the top.
Over the top.
You think so? Because they raised a whole bunch of goddamn money for Jamie Harrison in South Carolina, and he got washed too.
Warnock could have won just off the fact that when he's running against Laughlin, she is so pro-Trump. She's so die-hard pro-Trump. She runs on the ticket of I rock with Trump. Like, she might as well do an I rock with Trump dance when she talks. So it's like, and that's the other thing. Here's why this is why I consider myself an independent. Is because the Democrats is full of scaredy cats, and I'm not interested.
Say it one more time for the people.
I don't see no attack. All I saw from the Democrats was like, "Look at me. These are the things I'm going to do." Kind of ads. Meanwhile, the Republicans was like, "Look at him. He raggedy. Raggedy." And it's like, we ain't have no day raggedy ads. You know what I'm saying? Like, we
ain't have no riders in that party.
Right, you could have drug her for
no sharpshooters. No sharpshooters.
Right.
Nobody.
But that's the whole problem.
But you had
that's always been the Democrats'
years,
4 years to prepare.
I know, man. I know.
Stock up ammo.
I know. But like I said, man, the fact that we weren't able to get that Senate, man, I mean, weed legalization's out the window. DC becoming a state is out the window. You might as well cancel another stimulus. Like the stimulus, if a stimulus gets passed, it's not going to get passed until January for one. Right. Secondly, it's not going to be anywhere close to what they should have been getting. Right. Nowhere close.
Right.
And that's why I said the political education component is so crucial. Right. That we put so much of our eggs in a basket. And that was why I believe that the Republicans in this particular instance were so successful, even though they lost. They took all the attention and placed it on the fact that Trump being a racist, misogynist, all those things. And he was just like, man, let them shoot shots at me and y'all go ahead and win this Senate. Y'all go ahead and do whatever y'all need to do towards me because I'm going to go and chill. I got paper anyway. But let's get this Senate because even if they get in the White House, we got the Senate, and ain't nothing they desire because they really ain't about shit anyway. It's going to come through.
Yep.
It still can't be understated how the polls fucked up, man. Because they would have had you believe they was going to have 54 seats. Like, it was crazy the way they were lifting it, dog. They were doing some heavy lifting to make you believe that it was a done deal. I know people still got to get out to the polls and do what they need to do, but the way the polls was looking initially was like, okay, yeah, we've got it. We're going to make things happen. I guess not. All right. The big question right now then is, where do we go from here? We know that we have a trash Democratic Party, or in fairness to the Democrats.
Trash.
Yeah. Trash, bro. What are you being fair for?
Basura.
He said, why are you being fair? And a trash Republican Party.
We better get some gangsters up in the Democratic Party if we want to see anything.
It ain't.
Why Trump is so successful? Because he like, I'm gonna do what my constituents
they want me to do whatever I want to do.
And if you don't like it, I don't need you, because they still my folks still gonna rock with me to the
regardless, right? To the
and they rolled with him, and they proved that right too.
Yeah.
Democrats is like the kid at school that be giving away their lunch and now they hungry because they ain't got no food.
They gave away them.
Everybody be their friend.
Fuck that.
You want my cookies? Well, what you gonna eat, fool? You
ain't done giving away your cookies. All right, so tell me, where do we go from here then? Does that mean more marching, more protests? How do we hold these people's feet to the fire so that we can actually get some real change coming up? That's the big question.
There's no such thing as holding a politician accountable once they're in office, outside of voting in the next time they're up for election to get them fuck out of office.
I disagree.
It's like how you gonna hold Biden and Harris accountable? Tell me that.
Money, donations. That's where it's at.
Once you in office?
Listen, they don't.
Once you in office?
You forget that these politicians all year from day one, as soon as they get in the door, they're trying to get money for the next go around. Not just for them, but for the Democratic Party, for the Republican
How are
Party,
you
because
gonna hold
elections are
them
coming up in 2
accountable?
more years.
Because accountable means that you're going to get them to do what you need them to do. How are you going to get Biden and Harris to do the things necessary for us? And
How
I'm
do you think the
dying to hear
corporate
this.
donors do it? They tell them that they're not going to give them any money.
I don't think you can. I think it's very difficult to. I think you're both right. I think it's very difficult to do it at a federal level. However, it is not
On
that
the
difficult to do
local?
it at the local level.
Oh yeah, local is
You right.
different.
Yeah, it's
Local, I
not
can put my foot in
do
your
it at
neck
the
because I
local
can
level.
knock at your door.
Right. Local level, you got to by law take a meeting with me whether you want to
True
or
or not.
or
You're right.
not.
You're right about that.
Also, at the local level, I can afford a private detective to dig up your dirt. Also, at the local level, I can show up to budgetary meetings and give my commentary
And be disruptive.
Every single day.
Yeah.
Right? You're right about that. You're right
Also,
about
at
that.
the local level, I can call in for public comment when it's time to call in for public
Mhm.
comment. When the world opens back up, I could show up for public comment.
Yep.
Also, you have to keep in mind at the local level, also, all they want to do is be reelected. So if there is a strong 100 of us that show up at every meeting saying we want this and you don't do it, you know that 100 is going to be strong enough to get you out of office. So you're going to have to
Yep.
listen to this sometimes. Also, there are lots of task force and task force committees and things in which civilians can join to participate in civics. I myself am a member of the People's Uprising Task Force. It's a task force that was put together by City Councilman Antonio Harris, who has now stepped down due to being indicted, but that's another conversation. But
I can feel you, Harris, brother. I understand. Keep that paper, bro. It's rough out here.
But that task force still has several lawmakers. So we were responsible for the Rayshard Brooks bill that got passed.
Okay.
Our task force consists of civilians, activists, and lawmakers. So when we come up with a plan, we have lawmakers on our task force who can then go write the
To
policy.
make it work.
I see.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me
So
perfectly.
yes, I totally agree that it's very difficult to do that at a federal level. But
Mm.
we have to recognize that it's the local level that affects us. Listen, everybody who know me know I'm pro cannabis. So I'm looking at I always use this as an example in my state. I live in Fulton County where marijuana is decriminalized. I live a few blocks from DeKalb where it's not. So I can literally get in my car, get pulled over in front of my house, get a $50 ticket, drive 4 blocks up the street and go to jail.
Completely different. Just a couple blocks. Yep.
A few blocks away. So this is why I think that where we need to focus our energy is at the local level and at our senators and congressmen. Also, because they're the ones we're sending up to Washington.
Upstream. You're right about that.
Today, presidents don't write policy.
Yeah, especially the congressmen. You're right about that.
Congressmen and senators write policy. Councilmen write
But
policy.
we believe they do for whatever reason. We think president, highest office in the land, equals the most powerful person in the land.
Figurehead.
And for some reason, why we haven't cultivated within the Black collective, why we have not cultivated our own candidates and vetted our own candidates.
But that's because our own candidates are always ushered into being a Democrat from Jump Street.
Yeah.
If off Jump Street, these folks, these Black candidates, if they see, okay, every party has their bench. These local politicians from the congressional level, Senate level, will look down on the local level and be like, okay, this dude has potential. This person can raise money. This person can do X, Y, and Z. And what they do is to groom each one of these people, and they give them money, right? They start putting money into the coffers to help to build up an election cycle for them. So at the end of the day, even if you say that you, Elgin, want to run as part of the Green Party, if the Democrats see you and say, okay, well, if you run as a Green Party candidate, you're only going to raise maybe $1 million. We're going to give you $5 million off Jump Street, and we're going to have folks to back you.
And if you don't do that, we're still going to put that $5 million up against somebody else to go against you.
That's true. Mm-hmm. It's true, but I mean, money talks, man. That's where it's at.
No,
Phil,
I dig it, man.
Phil, where do you think we go from here, man?
One at a time.
I mean, pretty much what we do have to redouble our focus and increase our education on local government, and because our presence and our power is there, and I've seen the effects of that power. It's hard to, but it's hard to I guess it's become easier to accept the larger reality of of the interests that several groups really have, which are very basic and almost infantile. But nevertheless, here we are. We have to. I think we just have to, take stock of what we do know, and just stay focused on local government. That's all.
You still gonna be out in those streets, Kim?
Yes, I'm still gonna be out in these streets just because, I'm 44 years old. I'm triple OG. I have to be out there because I have to keep the kids focused. That's a lot of times, that's really how I even started this go around being in the streets, is that I would go out there and it would be a bunch of 20 somethings. And props to them. I love their energy, and their energy is right. But there was nobody out there with guidance energy in the same space with them. You know what I'm saying? So I go out, like now what I do is I go out. I may not stay the whole march. I may let them know that I'm going to speak at the rally and then I'm going to leave. But guess what? With Auntie's presence out there, it curves how they behave. And it keeps them on focus, on track, because they don't want Auntie Kim to see them acting crazy and looting and throwing bricks and not having focus to what we're doing. They want me to see the best of them. When Queen Yanajaha is out there, they want Yanajaha to see the best of them. When Attorney Gerald Griggs is out there, they want Griggs to see Griggs to see the best of them. Tamika Mowry, my son, all these people, they don't want the aunties and unks. They don't want us being like, y'all look crazy. They want to show us that they're organized. They want to show us that they got a plan. They want to show us that they have an agenda. So when we show up for them, it keeps them focused. They don't get distracted because, again, they don't want the OGs to see them looking bad. So I stay out there really primarily for that reason, because the young people are doing the work. Like even on my task force, the People's Uprising, our division that's for 18 to 24, the young Atlanta leaders, they do the bulk of the work. The rest of our committees would be lying if we didn't say the young Atlanta leaders, we take our nods from them. They're telling us what to do. They're telling us what to do. What do y'all want us to do? So I stay out there for that reason. But at the end of the day, for me, I feel satisfied about a lot that happened last night, because first of all, we did a lot of smart things, the kind of things I've been spouting my rhetoric about, like the DA who botched the Ahmaud Arbery case in Brunswick, Georgia. We got her out. Your vote is your ability to hire and fire. Period.
You right about that?
Yeah. They work for us. We don't work for them. You know what I'm saying? So she botched that case, and we didn't see justice for Ahmaud, so we voted her out. And Brunswick, let me tell you something. Brunswick is a place where you are surprised that happened. There's a reason why those men felt emboldened to attack him and try to do a citizen's arrest and all of that, because it's very red out in Brunswick. But she got voted out. So again, I look at the cannabis map, how many places were either decriminalized, turned medical, will be releasing prisoners, all of that last night. In the state of California, all felons got their right to vote back last night, whether they're on paper. Whether they're on paper or not. And I'm just naming a few of the victories. I mean, in Oregon, they made all drugs legal last night. Yeah,
you're right about that. The initiative was crazy.
Coke, crack, they don't care what you're on in Oregon, you free. So, we have to look at the wins. But again, like what we're talking about, those wins happen in legislation. That legislative branch and that judicial branch, that's what really runs the nation. That's really why I want Trump out of office, because there's 200 judge sheets coming up that I don't want him picking, because
I don't want him filling out. You're right about that.
Next 40 years.
You're right about that. You're right about that. Kimberly Jones, author of I'm Not Dying With You Tonight, activist, out in these streets doing the damn thing. We want to thank you for being on the show. We really appreciate it. Before we get out tonight, please tell the good folks where they can find you, what you got going on. I saw you on this ESPN special a couple of weekends ago, so I know you shaking hands and doing all sorts of stuff with these other. Anyway, tell these good people where they can find you and all that other good stuff.
You can find me if you go go to my website, everything is there. And it's just KimJonesWrites.com. It's Kim Jones, not Writes, RIGHTS, WRITES. KimJonesWrites.com. You can find me on Instagram. I really don't be on Twitter and Facebook like that. I'm usually on the gram. You can find me there with my full name, Kimberly Latrice Jones. And I have new books coming out. I have a new book about how we as Black people can win, called How We Can Win. That's coming out in May of 2021. I have another teen novel, which is tentatively called I Will Fly Again, but I think that name's going to change. That's coming out fall. And then I have two other.
Writing this by yourself, or you writing it with Gilly again?
I'm writing the teen one with Gilly again. And it's about two girls who take a knee at their high school football game and the fallout from it, and how the Black girl is punished more harshly than the white girl.
Understood.
And so that's fall of 2021. And then I have two other books that I haven't been announced yet that are coming out over the next couple years. Got some movie projects. I'm still trying to finish Coming Out Hard. Y'all know I directed Coming Out Hard, the A-Ball and MJG biopic. So I'm trying to still get that out in the world. But
okay. I'm glad to see that still. I was glad to see that still on the table.
Yeah. No, people hit me every day like, Kim, what's good with Coming Out Hard? What's going on with Coming Out Hard? So I'm working on Coming Out Hard. Okay. That's what's up.
Nice.
Kimberly Jones, thank you so much. We appreciate it, Mama. Stay out of trouble if you can.
I will not, but I will be back to talk about it. I love it in the Black podcast.
We appreciate it. Thank you, Mama.
Bye. All right, take care, sis.
All right, fellas, what did you guys think, man? What do you guys think about this whole election? Where do you think we're going to go from here? Are you positive at least about the next 2 years, or what?
Well, I mean, I can only hope that we'll be emboldened further to double down our focus and broaden our education about this situation. But you know, it's going to be at the same time, it feels kind of difficult knowing, you know, how a good chunk of society feels and how they perceive leadership. It's very disturbing.
Yeah.
How they perceive how apparently a chunk of this society perceives leadership. So I mean, going forward, I'm going to be cautious and reading a lot.
What about you, El?
I don't have any more. My hope level is no greater, no lesser than it was before the election.
Understood.
I'm glad that more of us, when I say us, I mean Black people, are beginning to get a understanding of how the political game is played, and realizing that we don't have to play according to the rules that other folks have established. I just feel like we may have waited a couple years too late for this particular situation.
Of course.
I wish I was more hopeful, man, and just I hate this season more than any time. I'm
election season or
election season. I get
you,
because I see Black folks going to war against other Black folks over which white man is going to be in the office, and that shit irks me.
Yeah, I get it. I think one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to, at least going forward, is hopefully the results of this election will help Black people take a stronger look at how policy works and how to formulate policy. And if we're not going to be voting Democratic, because we can see that there are its pitfalls when we vote for Democrats, right? That even if you're going to vote third party, we need to start cultivating, building, and financing third party candidaits.
That's the key
now.
Right there.
Now, not waiting until the 2024 is like, okay, well, this person's on the scene. It's like, oh, we don't know nothing about that person. They don't have the finance behind them to get it to get their message out. You know what I mean? We need to start finding those candidates and doing the work necessary to get them on the map now, not waiting until 4 years from now when it's going to eventually just be too late. El, where can folks find you if they'd like to find you, my guy?
On Twitter, man, at Elgin Bailey is where I hang out the most these days. Come through.
No doubt. Phil, where can these folks find you if they want to find you, man?
They can find me on Instagram at the Orange Crush with a K, or at SP Methods.
No doubt. And I'm Big O, Mr. In the Black. You can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at MR_in the Black. And I want to thank you guys for joining us for another conversation. We really appreciate it. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're kicking it with us, and we really appreciate it. Make sure you check us across all social media at In the Black PDCST on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and as always, informed, intelligent, in the black.
Black.
Right.
Peace.
Peace.